Hi cleansers, it's Elizabeth here, and I wanted to pop in today to give you a little bit of coaching around some of the questions that I've received through your cleanse. Now, first off, I want to commend you and congratulate you on all the amazing, awesome results that you've been telling me you're getting in this cleanse experience. Some of you have lost 6 or 7 pounds. You feel amazing. Your energy has never been better. Maybe you've noticed even better cycle this month with lack of PMS or no cramps, or maybe your periods come back after a long period of time having not had it. And these are all actually quite common results to see with this 21-day cleanse program. So I'm so happy to hear that it's working well for you and that you're loving how you're feeling and that you're loving the taste of the recipes and that it's working for your life. And I also understand that it's perfectly natural for obstacles to come up. And so the first thing I want to talk to you about today is how to avoid the #1 mistake that people make when reintroducing foods after a cleanse, and how you're going to get around this and do this successfully to get the best results possible both this week and going forward, no matter if you're repeating the 21-day fertility cleanse program or if you're doing another type of cleanse, or if your naturopathic doctor puts you on a program. This is something that comes up often, so I want to make sure it's clear for you. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about obstacles and how to get unstuck when you're feeling stuck with your cleanse program. So if that's where you are today, then stay tuned. So here I'm going to tell you the first mistake, the #1 mistake to avoid, and that's just going too fast when you're reintroducing foods. You know, going through a cleanse program, you have an opportunity to let your digestive system rest, to balance your hormones, to cut through inflammation, and you may be feeling better than you have in months. You may also notice that there's a lot more work involved in some preparation and planning in order to go through this successfully and get the best results possible. And that might not be something that you can keep going forever and ever and ever, because life is busy. And so when you're going through this phase, so if you're in phase 3 right now of my 21-day fertility program, then you are going to be starting to consider how to reintroduce foods. So the main way of doing this is, or the best way to give you success, is to either continue phase 3 just with the meal plan that I've given you and stick with the cleanse altogether, and don't reintroduce any foods until the full 3 weeks is done, and then go back to your regular diet and see how you feel. Okay, that's choice A. Choice B is to be very sequential about how you reintroduce food so that you can observe just how that particular food affects you. And keep in mind that the food reactions that you may experience could be very general. They could be something other than, something to do with your fertility. They could be skin related. They could be sleep disruption. They could be mood disruption. And they could be pain in your joints, or swelling, or headache, or nausea. And because they're going to happen within a couple of days of eating that food, you need to be very careful to reintroduce just one food at a time if you're going to be a detective about this, and really get the best information possible from reintroducing foods. So one new food at a time. For example, you're going to try wheat or gluten. You're going to have that food 2 to 3 by 2 to 3. So 2 to 3 times per day for 2 to 3 days to observe for any reactions. And the reactions that you're going to have should happen within that time frame. And if they don't happen within that time frame, you're probably A-okay with that particular food. And then you can move on to the next one. If you run into a reaction, and that can happen within the first meal or first couple of days, then you're going to hold off. You're going to stop that food right away because it's not agreeing with you. And then you're going to go back to your pre-introduction plan. So if you've introduced no foods at all, just go back to phase 3 of your fertility cleanse program. And if you've already reintroduced a few things and you didn't have a negative reaction, you can keep those in as well. So go back to baseline, just go back to where you started from kind of yesterday with the food that you were eating and feeling well with, and eat that for a few days until that reaction calms down. And then you're going to try the next food on your reintroductions list. There's no real rules about which foods you start with, so you can choose the one that you miss the most or that your partner missed the most, and that would make life easiest if you could eat it and tolerate it, and challenge that one first. So again, that number one mistake is going too fast with this, because especially if you're sensitive, you will notice that the reactions are going to be strongest right off the bat. So as soon as you're finishing up your cleanse and reintroducing, that's when you're most sensitive typically. And some people will get much more prominent reactions that are not very comfortable. So you may have like even vomiting or loose stools or cramps or a migraine, and you don't need to push yourself into that. So avoid that most common mistake of going too fast by just going sequentially with one food at a time. If you know for sure and you've cleansed before and you've reintroduced things and you've been okay, then you might be able to go with choice A or approach A to go back to your regular diet as of next week and jump in and feel better than you have been before. Okay, so you won't lose the effects of your cleanse just yet, especially if you are used to cleansing and your body has had a chance to go through this at least once per season for a couple of years. You'll probably go really smoothly as you reintroduce foods. So I hope that gives you some clarity around how to reintroduce food successfully after a cleanse. And I'll also promise that I would tell you a little bit about how to get unstuck from any obstacles that you're facing. When you're changing your food and your lifestyle, as you have been in this 21-day program, stuff comes up. And when that comes up, I want you to just keep in mind that you can become an observer to that stuff. So that emotion, that obstacle, that block, that guilt or fear or anxiety, you can become an observer of that. So I just want you to notice where it lands in your body. What does it feel like? What does it taste like, sound like, smell like? What's the sensation? You know, everyone may experience their obstacle in a little bit of a different way. So get in tune with it and let's name it and name the emotion that's attached to it. And then as soon as you've done that, you've inherently put it in a little package and you've put it over here and you've made it something other than yourself. And if you want to read a little bit more about this technique, go ahead and read The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And that was where a lot of the inspiration for this technique has come from for me. And so I want you to just become the observer. And as soon as you're the observer of something, you're automatically not that thing. So it's not you. And that way you can give yourself permission to let that pass through you. And that's how you'll overcome any obstacle, whether you're in the 21-day cleanse program with me right now, or whether you are watching this video a year after we've done the cleanse and you're finding yourself stuck with any issue in your fertility journey or in your health in general. Your mental, physical, or emotional well-being will always involve getting stuck somewhere, because you're changing, you're improving yourself, you're improving your life, and there's going to be resistance. So I want you to lean into that resistance, get in touch with where that whole feeling, that whole block is landing in you, and let's package it up and name it, and then gently let it pass through. So because you're the observer, it is not you. It has now permission to move through you. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, feel free to be in touch with me. And as you finish up this last leg of your journey, just want to encourage you, keep going. You're almost there. You have already experienced a ton of the benefits of this program. And every day that you go through this, it's another gift to yourself, and you deserve it. Be well.